Boom, what's a goody kids again? Welcome back to another reaction with your boy. As you all know, the playoffs are well on their way. So here is a Clueless Europeans guide to picking an NBA team.
Well, hello,
I don't know if I'm gonna be bandwagoning, but I have my own. But yeah, let's just see what he has to say.
Since the Premier League and the Golden Boot race is pretty much all sewn up by Man City, why not get into a league where there's a little bit more mystery? Who's gonna?
I'm sorry. I was not expecting that. I really was not expecting that.
Pretty much all sewn up by Man City. Why not get into a league where there's a little bit more mystery? Who's gonna win it all? Psych, it's probably gonna be the Warriors again. Let's be honest. But hey, at least for you, 3 of the NBA's top players, including the two-time reigning MVP, are European. And here we are, about to kick off our first regularly scheduled start to the NBA season since COVID bitch slapped us. And it feels like one of the most open races for a chip in a while. Yes, maybe the Warriors or the Bucks might be favorites, but there are no super teams looming over the league like in years past. And on top of that, there are tons of rising stars, a lot of elite superstars returning from injury, so it's shaping up to be yet another spicy season for America's beautiful game. So sit back, relax, and let me be your guide. Give you a quick, digestible preview on the NBA season at hand, all the big storylines and drama heading into the season, who are the big names that have changed team, and most importantly, to you storylines and drama heading into the season, who are the big names that have changed team.
Hey, if you know, you know why I went back.
Help you, my European friend, decide which team to bandwagon this season in the NBA. To a Clueless guide for 2022-2023 NBA season.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest, I think I already have a team in my head, but I'm just here to see if he can guide me.
Into the video, a quick word from our sponsor. Thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Now come, join me in the first game to bring a true console level experience to your phone. They've set the bar so high, there's no going back. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 600 champions blessed with unique skills, you can build your just enter your details and spin the wheel. We're talking about the free Epic Champ game. All that loot will be waiting for you right here. So click on the link or scan the QR code, and I'll see you in the game.
What he said.
First, shoutouts to Jimmy and Justin for helping me go ahead and write this, y'all the real MVPs. But alright, let's get into the big storylines heading to the season. And for those who are uninitiated, let me give you a quick recap of what went down last year in the NBA. First off, we gotta talk about the guy from Space Jam. LeBron's supposed super team did about as well as a proposed Super League. Collapsing due to injury and lack of depth, didn't even make it to the playoffs. And many questions loom large about LeBron as he approaches the twilight of his career. In many ways, he mirrors Cristiano Ronaldo over at Man United right now. Both are past their primes, but still offer elite traits in short bursts.
This guy's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me with these football references,
elite Ronaldo over at Man United right now. Both are past their primes, but still offer elite traits in short bursts. But it's not looking good for him or the Lakers. After trading away every future asset possible, LeBron is stuck with this team. And the Lakers are a hot mess. And they're about to get a bit messier, because they just brought in Pat Bev. And quick history on Pat Beverly, this dude and Russell Westbrook fucking hate each other. He is on the all-time antagonist list for Russell Westbrook ever since Pat Bev injured him and nearly ended his career. Yeah, that's Pat Bev, back in the day, diving on Westbrook's knee. And you know, surprisingly, their relationship hasn't gotten much better since. So his addition will definitely fix their team chemistry issues. Looking like the Lake Show.
Yo, that's sad, man. Come on, you're in the same team. I get it, you got beef and all that, but
the day, what is this? Knee. And you know, surprisingly, their relationship hasn't gotten much better since. So his addition will definitely fix their team chemistry.
See here, I can hear.
The Lake Show is probably gonna be a shit show once again this year. Good luck, LeBron. And speaking of hot messes, the Phoenix Suns went from the hottest team in the regular season to the hottest steaming pile of dog shit in the playoffs. And the curse of CP3 continues, as this regular season juggernaut was felled by an underdog Mavs team and a Luka Doncic coming off of injury. This collapse seemed pretty out of nowhere, but I guess the owner situation must have gotten into the heads of the players. For those who don't know, the Sun owner did a Donald Sterling 2.0. Shocking, I know. An old rich white billionaire said incredibly racist and sexist comments. He is literally the type of white guy who asks why he can't say the N-word. And when that guy is your owner, when that guy is your boss, and you're a black guy, how hard do you actually want to win? I would have tanked that shit too. Now, the owner has been suspended a year, fined $10 million, yada, 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 and he's now looking to sell the team. And by odd coincidence, this is the second team that CP3 has been on where the owner had to sell the team for racist comments he made. The vibes around this team are in complete shambles. Now listen, they're still good on paper.
I was gonna get into it, but I'm not gonna get into it. That's a whole other video in itself.
This comments he made. The vibes around this team are in complete shambles. Now listen, they're still good on paper. Devin Booker is who he's going to be, but CP3 is a year older, and their young star center hasn't spoken to their coach since the playoff loss. It was a collapse of epic proportions, and it was fantastic to watch. May the curse of CP3 live on forever. And with their loss, by extension, the legend of Luka Doncic continued to grow. This kid is special, but you already know that. And the playoff spotlight seems to only amplify his powers. Now to my European homies watching this, you've been spoiled the past couple of seasons. You already had a finals MVP, the two-time reigning MVP, Jokic is European, but Luka is looking like a future MVP, and maybe a finals MVP one day. Now, the Mavs did lose Brunson in free agency, who was their second best player, but the addition of Christian Woods seems like a deadly pick-and-roll complement to Luka's game. And let's be honest here, in a playoff series, if you need someone, just one person to take over and win one game, no one, absolutely no one wants to see Luka on the other side of that equation. And now the question about this Mavs team heading into this year is, will this budding young superstar have enough support around him to capture his first championship? And speaking of young superstars, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies took the league by storm. They were easily one of the must-watch teams on your NBA League Pass, and the young core of likable, talented players basically took it to everybody in the league. They wanted all the smoke. And even when Ja was hurt for large portions of the seasons, they took on and beat all the best teams in the NBA. Now in the playoffs, they were eventually felled by future champions Golden State, and that is going to be the big question for the Memphis Grizzlies heading into this year. Can they mature and slay the big dragon in the West? For the Memphis Grizzlies heading into this year, can they mature and slay the big dragon in the West? And we'll get a preview of that because we are all getting a little extra present on Christmas, as the NBA scheduled these two to go ahead and square off in their premier game on the birthday of their baby Jesus. Could it possibly be a preview of the Western Conference Finals? Tune in and find out. And then we have the two biggest stories of the year. A young Celtics team had a historically awful first half of the season, only to storm back and have an equally historically stellar second half of the season, marched into the playoffs, and proceeded to mature before our eyes. Young Jason Tatum went head-to-head, outdueling greats like Giannis and KD to make it to his first NBA Finals. He knew that they were young and good, but this was the final appearance no one really saw coming, especially halfway through the season. But they were taken out by the number one story of last season, and that was the Golden State Warriors apparently rising from the dead and pulling the Spurs. Yes, the dynasty that everyone pronounced dead after KD left rose from the grave like a zombie. Klay Thompson returned from 2 years of rehab, Draymond lost weight and started a podcast, and the Warriors found a Steph Curry clone just sitting on their bench. Yes, the emergence of Jordan Poole was a revelation, and that combined with their young, exciting role players, congealing with their older but championship-savvy Big Three, was just too much firepower for a young Boston squad to handle in their first NBA Finals appearance. Led by Steph Curry, who captured his first NBA Finals MVP, the Warriors netted themselves their fourth championship in 7 years, solidifying them as a true NBA dynasty. But all that is history now. The new season is upon us, and we all go again. And well, before Draymond punched Jordan Poole in the face, the biggest story in the NBA was the Boston Celtics suspending their coach, Udoka, for a year. And this wasn't the league suspending Udoka. Man? This was the Celtics organization that did it themselves. And the reason for this is apparently he had a consensual relationship with a Celtics employee. And this is a big deal because Udoka, who led the Celtics to an improbable finals appearance, also has long been engaged to the sexy and talented Nia Long. Now,
oh my God! What? Why? And I don't care, honestly. Anybody who's gonna say, "Oh yeah, but she wants beautiful," but I don't care, man. Have you seen? Have you seen the beauty of this queen, man? Look how her skin is glistening. Oh god damn. She's peng. She is lang as shit. God damn it, man. Why is it that I feel like there just seems to be a problem with men with money.
Big deal because
it's men with money, man, that do all these
also
stupid
has long been engaged to the sexy and talented Nia Long. Not all the details are out just yet, but he is by far not the first NBA coach to have an affair, which makes this seem, I don't know, a little bit off. Like most organizations would try to sweep this under the rug, and let's be honest here, Boston fans are no Puritans. If anything, they're asking what's the big deal. So the theory is, whatever hasn't been disclosed is probably so heinous that the Celtics had no choice but to get ahead of this. And all I know is, It's gonna be juicy. And how did TMZ not find out these details first? Like, they got the leaked video of Draymond punching Jordan Poole, but they couldn't get the details on this? Come on, TMZ. Step your game up. I guess the other big story at the end of last season was yet another saga involving KD and Kyrie. Both have been lightning rods for controversy for over a decade now, and after an embarrassing first-round exit, although this was salved a little bit by Boston going on to the NBA Finals, but at the time, Brooklyn were looking like a mess. And reports surfaced that KD wasn't talking to upper management anymore. And once that got out, the word on the street was Brooklyn was looking to blow this up. Suitors for KD and Kyrie were circling like vultures, and every NBA commentator was coming out with packages and theory crafting where they would end up. And all of that drama has led them to just stay put. Yeah, I guess no trade offers really made sense for them. And you're just not going to give KD and Kyrie away for free. So, yep. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but it doesn't seem good. You know what it feels like? It feels like that awful married couple that just keeps on fighting and cheating on each other, but for whatever reason, they're going to be like,
NBA
okay,
ain't looking too good right now.
We're going to give it another shot. And this time is going to work. So yeah, good luck, Brooklyn.
My God.
Ned Fulmer of the... And this time is going to...
He got that from Euphoria. So
yeah,
I'm nearly sure that's
Ned Fulmer
from
of the NBA. And then we have the sad story of Chet Holmgren, who's the second overall pick. He went to the Thunder, and he was killing in the offseason. He looked like a mini KD. There's even this video of him crossing over Steph Curry at 7'2". He was probably the most hyped rookie coming into this year, and then he goes and destroys his foot on some shitty high school court. And now he's out for the season. But hopefully he makes a speedy recovery and bones, they heal back. Choice is strong. And speaking of unicorns, apparently in next year's draft, there is going to be the unicorn of unicorns. This guy, named Victor Wembanyama. I'm probably fucking up his name. I apologize. Standing at a projected 7'5". This dude moves like Giannis. Okay, he's
7'5".
Like footers that are all kind of clunky, maybe a little bit stiff. No, he moves like a 6'5" motherfucker. And his athleticism, combined with his height and his skill set, doesn't make him just a can't miss prospect. It makes him a generational prospect. When you see him on the court, it's hard to deny. He's 18 fucking years old. And at 7'5", he's got handles, he's got fluidity, defensively.
That motherfucker is 18 years old. Standing at 7'5". At 18. That's how I will be talking to him. I would just be like, how you doing, man? 18 years old, man. Where are you going with that height?
He's 18 fucking years old. And at 7'5", he's got handles, he's got fluidity. Defensively, he's just blocking everyone. Oh, and he can also knock down a three. I hope I don't overhype this, but I don't know if I can overhype it. Bill Simmons has gone as far to say that this kid is a better prospect, just a prospect, than LeBron James coming out of high school. So a lot of people are theorizing is that this is going to lead to multiple teams pulling a Jay-Z. They're going to go 0 for 82. A tank fest unseen since World War II. That's how highly people are coveting the #1 overall pick next year. Because all the NBA heads are saying that it isn't a matter of if this kid will become a top 10 player in the NBA. It's a matter of when. And then we have the story of pretty much all the injured superstars coming back. We had a lot of big names go down last year. Kyrie, PG, Zion Williamson, AD, Chris Middleton, Damian Lillard, Jamal Murray, and Porter Jr. Like half the All-Star team from 2021. This is a pretty obvious reason why it's a big story. Because if you look at Vegas betting right now, with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard coming back healthy, some sites have the Clippers at better odds to win the NBA Finals than the Warriors. And you got Zion Williamson returning to the Pelicans, a team that overperformed in the playoffs last year. And with him in a contract year, we're all hoping and salivating at the prospect of the baby god returning to his full powers. And then you have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. returning to the Nuggets to combine forces with the already two-time MVP Nikola Jokic. They're going to be absolutely terrifying. And all this will hopefully lead to a more balanced NBA, a more competitive NBA. Well, except for the teams that are going to be tanking for Wembanyama. And it's a long season, so who knows who will be left standing at the end of this year. But let's move on to talking about who are the real contenders. Who should you be bandwagoning this year in the NBA, at least at the start? So let's get the defending champs out of the way first in Golden State. At the start of this season, they're probably the favorites going in, but not many had them winning it all last year. Reminder that this team was dog shit for most of the 2 previous seasons after KD left. But that actually allowed them to develop some of their draft picks. Picks that became players like Jordan Poole, who can chuck threes from the logo if he wishes. And then this past year, they hit on the rookies Kuminga and Moody. Looked like they could be future stars in the making. And what makes them utterly terrifying is that they won the whole damn thing without the 2nd overall pick from 2 seasons ago, James Wiseman, who's a 7-footer unicorn that would be the perfect answer at the one position they don't have a superstar at. Center. Now, big caveat here, this dude can't stay healthier than a season of Love Island. But if he does pan out, this lineup would be damn near unfair. And this is all before mentioning the likes of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green. Even you, as a clueless European, already probably know of these guys, what they do, and how they do it. So I'll talk about their unsung hero for most of last year. Andrew Wiggins was seen by many as just the piece that they got back in the D'Angelo Russell trade. A failed number 1 overall pick that never hit his full potential, and it was a foregone conclusion that he never would. But when he came to the Warriors, Andrew Wiggins resurrected his career and became an all-star, because of course he did. The Warriors just keep on doing this shit. This dude became the perfect 3-and-D player the Warriors always wanted Harrison Barnes to be. And in the process, damn near stole the Finals MVP away from Steph, because the Maple Mamba put on a defensive masterclass during the finals. And Europeans look away because he nearly ended Luka's life with this dunk in the playoffs.
Outside to Wiggins. Goes by Bullock.
Yay!
Drops the sledgehammer.
This team might legit have 5 different dunk in the playoffs.
Outside to Wiggins. Goes by Bullock. Drops the sledgehammer.
This team might legit have 5 different All-Stars on its roster and a couple future All-Stars developing on their bench. And in all honesty, I have no idea how the Warriors can keep on paying all these guys. Well, actually I do know. It's because the luxury cap spending on this team has reached literal unheard of heights. It's good to have tech money, bro. And if everyone can stay healthy, it's scary to think that they might just be even better than they were a season ago. And just as I finished writing this, a video surfaced of Draymond Green punching and seemingly knocking out Jordan Poole. Yeah, definitely trouble in paradise here. It's one thing for this to happen
He
behind
Superman
closed doors,
punched
but for the
him.
video to leak out, it's way worse, let's be honest. NBA Twitter is not going to let Jordan Poole let this down. Anytime this season this guy has a bad game, the Warriors lose, the memes are just going to be Draymond in the locker room, picture.
Superman
Draymond
punched
after
him.
the game, picture. And it just looks so much worse because Draymond is an actually good fighter, apparently. Like, you see NBA fights all the time, nobody lands a good punch. But
No.
Draymond hits him with the Superman punch
Boom, that's
in UFC, and we
exactly,
gotta question
man.
Jordan Poole's chin for the rest of his career. This is a weird
Bro,
time.
that was clean.
Now Draymond has apologized profusely, saying that he's failed as a man, as a leader, like no shit. And he's also stepping away for the Warriors for a while, but it was only for a couple days. So who knows how this affects him over the course of the season, but I think this thing will probably blow over. Because it's the NBA, there's another big controversy right around the corner. And if they start winning, it's gonna cure a lot of things. But when Draymond Green's contract comes up, yeah, he might be the one getting knocked out of the bank. But until then, I think this team has good enough structure, leadership, and culture to go ahead and hold it together for this season. And if this incident cuts Draymond Green's career short, I think he's got a future career in the UFC, man. The power, the accuracy. Maybe he's just in the wrong sport. Next up, we got Boston. And before Udoka got caught with his dick in the cookie jar, they were probably the team to beat in the East. The defense they showcased in the second half of the season was historically smothering. Jason Tatum became a true superstar before disappearing in the finals after Game 1. But if he can do what he did over the second half of the season, over the course of a full season, he might goddamn be the MVP this year. And then they went and added a steady point guard. They call him the president because of his interviews. And he is a part of the 50-40-90 club. Shoots 50% from the field, 40 from 3, and 90 at the line. And this will offer them a nice little offensive upgrade to Smart, who improved offensively last season, but let's be honest, he wasn't quite up to snuff in the finals. And the president can offer them a different type of lineup depending on the matchup. Now, after Udoka's suspension, obviously a lot more is up in the air, but most likely they're still going to be really good. And we've seen it many a time in the NBA where a high-profile coach is suspended or has to take a leave of absence, and the team just keeps on ticking. This Udoka news is definitely going to knock them down a couple of notches, but I think they should easily, at minimum, be the second favorites in the East. To the next team that I'll be talking about, and that is the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, champions from 2 years ago, and featuring the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. This athletic Adonis is still at the height of his powers, and if Chris Middleton didn't go down in the playoffs, chances are they probably would have beaten Boston and represented the East in the NBA Finals. Because even without Middleton, they pushed Boston to a Game 7. And if anyone stays healthy, it wouldn't surprise me they make it back to the finals this year. This team has stayed mostly intact, returning many of the same parts that won the championship 2 years ago. Middleton is scheduled to return early this season, and he's not really known to be an injury-prone player. So everything is shaping up around this team for them to be back and better than ever. And they even added a nice little piece in Joe Ingles. I like him. But moving on to the West, and who surprisingly, some in Vegas think have better odds to win the NBA Finals than the Golden State Warriors this year, and that is the LA Clippers. How is a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year this high in the power rankings? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. They didn't have their two main superstars, PG and Kawhi Leonard, for most of last year. And even without those two, they almost made the playoffs if PG didn't catch COVID right as the play-in happened. And that's why Ty Lue was in consideration for Coach of the Year last year. On paper, they're one of the deepest teams in the league, and we've seen Kawhi at the height of his powers take down the Warriors before. But just like last year, it all comes down to health. There's going to be a lot of load management going on with this team with Kawhi, and PG hasn't lasted a full season in God knows how long. So yeah.
But the quality just dropped. Crazy.
Out of his powers, take down the Warriors before. But just like last year, it all comes down to health. There's going to be a lot of load management going on with this team with Kawhi, and PG hasn't lasted a full season in God knows how long. So yeah, Clipper fans, start praying. And then we have the Philadelphia 76ers. They were the ones who made the big move last season, trading away the mentally unstable Ben Simmons for the aging but still effective James Harden. Joel Embiid had an MVP caliber season, and his numbers with Harden in the pick and roll situations was unbelievable. Their young pup Tyrese Maxey had a couple explosive games in the playoffs, but ultimately they were swept aside by a more cohesive Heat team. And I think this team is the biggest paper tiger in the NBA. Now, don't get me wrong, they'll be amazing during the regular
Jesus
season.
Christ.
But I just don't believe in James Harden in the playoffs, okay? Just historically, James Harden's game always shrinks to the playoffs. And I love Embiid. This dude is a god, but it's just terrifying, man, when you're counting on a dude that has so many health concerns throughout the entirety of his career. And I hope I'm wrong, because I love Embiid. I'm rooting for the man. I can't hate on a dude who loves anime, but come playoff time, I just don't see them getting past the Bucks,
And he's Cameroonian.
or even the Heat again. And then we have the Suns.
You can't hate on that
And I
either.
mean, come on, we already talked about how that shit show's going down. After a historic collapse last season of the playoffs, no one outside of Arizona is believing in this team anymore. With the racist owner yet to sell the team, and their star center Ayton not talking to the coach, and they just lost to some Australian team in preseason with their starters on the court. And yeah, I feel about them kind of the same way I feel about the 76ers. They have too much talent to fail in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, everything gets magnified. And you need to be 100% dialed in. And there is just too much drama behind the scenes for me to believe in them. And listen, I could have just saved you all this trouble and just said CP3 curse for this section and wrapped it up. So I'm going to end it there. So let's move on to ones to watch. Maybe some sleeper teams that you can go ahead and
Nuggets,
on this.
Denver.
The big one, I think, are the Denver Nuggets. I mean, with them getting Jamal Murray and quarterback, combine these two superstars with the two-time MVP Nikola Jokic, they have a legit big three that can rival anyone in the league. And all their pieces complement each other exquisitely. They're going to be so fun to watch this year. And the other sleeper team, I think maybe the Pelicans, man. They were making waves in the playoffs last year. Brandon Ingram made a lot of Laker fans sad that they traded him away. And with them bringing back Zion, have you seen the picture of Zion versus Zion from last year? The man is looking slim and fit. Hopefully he'll cut down on his health issues. They're going to be incredibly fun to watch in the regular season and probably could make a lot more noise in the playoffs than people are predicting. And as for the big players that moved, there actually wasn't too many big things that happened. But the biggest offseason move was just the Jazz blowing it up. And mark my words, they're going to be one of the teams in the Tank Fest this year. They moved Rudy Gobert over to the Timberwolves, and that's going to be a very interesting team as well. Maybe you put them in the sleeper section because they got Cat, they got D'Angelo Russell, the emerging superstar, and surprisingly good actor Anthony Edwards. And then you add in a former defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert. That's a tough big four, man. And then they sent their other superstar, Donovan Mitchell, to the Cavs. And talking to sleeper teams, the Cavs were the talk of the town last year. A very young and hungry team. With them adding in Donovan Mitchell, they could be the Memphis Grizzlies of the East. And it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the year when we look up at the standings, they could be right there with Boston and Milwaukee. Now, I don't know how good they'll be in the playoffs, but I think the regular season record could be pretty close to those teams. And now I'm going to come to the portion where I go ahead and make my prediction and look really, really silly at the end of the year. But I think coming out of the West, it's going to be the Clippers and the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. And in the East, I'm going chalk, man. I'm going Bucks and Boston. And for my NBA Finals prediction, I mean, I got to go with my hometown Warriors up against the Milwaukee Bucks. But here's the shocker. I think the Bucks are going to take it this year. Yeah, I'm not that much of a homer. Just something in it. Maybe the Draymond punch affects this team chemistry a little bit. And it's not like this Warrior team is the healthiest. They got a lot of miles on that tread. And if they go once again to another finals, I don't know if those older bodies can hold up. So yeah, that is going to be my NBA prediction. Bucks over Warriors in 6. And then it's pretty much going to be my guide to the opening of the NBA season. And here's the thing, guys, that a lot of NBA fans aren't going to really tell you. For the first half of the season, just enjoy it. Just tune in to a couple of the big games, a couple of the fun matchups, players that you like, because the NBA season really doesn't start until after the All-Star break. And you could just look at Boston last year. At the halfway point, they were historically awful. And then after the All-Star break, they were the best team in the NBA. So you just never know, man. You just need to get into the playoffs and get hot, and you can just win it all. So with that said, I'll probably hop back in after the All-Star break and give you a mid-season update. But until then, go ahead and enjoy the season, guys. Oh, hello again. It's your number one fetish, and just want to say thank you.
Nah, that was sick, though. I like that shit. Like I said, I already had my team in my hand. I already had my team in mind. And that is because I've never really supported a basketball team. I've only supported a basketball player, and I've just followed him to whichever team he goes. And my reasoning for that is very simple. If I follow a team and then they get rid of players that I like, I don't really want to follow that team anymore. Let me just keep it 100. I don't want to. So I follow Kyrie Irving. Wherever he goes, I go. He was in Celtics, I was Celtic. He's in Nets, I'm Nets. You get what I mean? That's how it is. But as always, Link to the original video for Be Among Us is gonna be linked in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. We are well on our way to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and I would love for you to join us on that journey. For now though, it's been your boy